Happy Thursday and welcome to Full House.
Full house.
We got everybody in here tonight.
Who we got in here tonight?
Not like the Brady Bunch.
No, not really sure what's going on with the viewer count tonight. It's a low crowd. I don't know. What are you guys doing? Is everybody okay? Go ask your friends. Check on your friends. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about some Alabama recruiting. We're going to talk about SEC Media Days. I said recruiting, so the numbers should start going up. Okay.
4,000 already. Wow, that didn't take long.
We're going to talk about SEC Media Days. We got a really special guest next week. Not that Herb N Rodg aren't special guests, but we're going to talk about that. Talk about that a little bit later in the show. My bad, man. It's been a crazy week, man. There's been a lot going on. So before we get, how's everybody doing? Welcome, Herb Rodg from the Herb N Rodg podcast.
Welcome, Herb N Rodg from the Herb N Rodg podcast.
We appreciate y'all. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. How's life?
Longtime friends of the show, multiple guests of the show, so they're more like family than guests. So we welcome them all the time.
Life is good.
We want to know when you guys are going to help babysit mom and dad tonight. Then, so that's kind of what who's taking turn next.
That's where we need.
So, Herb Rodg, you guys, I know I probably ask you this every time I'm in your comment section or you're on the show. You guys are going to be in Tallahassee for the opener, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Rodg flies in on Friday. I'm in Birmingham, so it's.
I fly in like Friday morning. Flight leaves here like 10:30. Gets there at 1 something. I forget.
Yes. So we will properly hydrate all day Friday and try to recover enough to make sure we get to mid-afternoon.
You gotta be mindful Saturday. You can't do too much Saturday because it's going to be scorching.
What time's the kickoff? 2:30.
2:30.
Well, 3:30, I guess.
3:30 Eastern.
Yeah.
That's a win.
I believe, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but Chris and I will be there hanging around Tallahassee, trying not to get hepatitis. Have you guys been to Tallahassee? The place is crazy, man.
You can't catch what you already have.
When we were younger, we used to live in Cocoa Beach, Florida, which is like an hour from Orlando on the East Coast. But I honestly don't think we've ever been to Tallahassee, have we?
I mean, it's not. There's not much to it.
Yeah. Make sure you got.
It's really called Tallahassee. It's known as Tallahassee.
Okay.
Make sure you've got hobo stab insurance before you go, because
oh my gosh,
get a tetanus shot before you leave Birmingham.
Definitely a possibility. Speaking of that opener, let's talk about it. Let's just jump in. Let's talk about Alabama's opener August 30th against the Florida State Seminoles. It's kind of poetic that Alabama gets to start this season against Florida State. They've had I feel like back in 2017, Alabama broke FSU and they haven't quite recovered. It culminated in the 2-10 season last year after they poached Alabama's roster. Once Nick Saban retired, which happened fresh off the heels.
Strong word.
I don't think it's true. No, dude, they took like 4 guys.
They didn't take. Okay, they didn't take anybody from us.
Look, Coach Saban
they picked up some that were escorted from the building.
Maybe.
And they
Coach Saban said there were dudes camping out in Tuscaloosa the minute they found out he was retiring. So I'm going to trust Coach on that one. But, even then, right before that happens, Coach Saban, or not Coach Saban, excuse me, FSU misses out on the playoff and Alabama gets that nod because of the injury to Jordan Travis. I said Jordan, sorry. But so it's all going to culminate. It's all going to culminate at 3:30 Eastern time on August 30th in the heat and 1,000% humidity with a brand new quarterback. Alabama will go into Tallahassee. How are you guys feeling about this game?
I feel good. Like it's anxious, not because of Florida State, but just because it's the first game. And we're so, the expectations seem to grow every single day. To where we were like, hey, things are going to be different next year. To now we're like, all right, we got to win the national championship and bleed Florida State
by 100.
So it's like, it feels like all that's changed. But I think the defense is going to be solid. And you saw the comments by Lawson this past week. They've got something to prove against a particular person in specifically. So I think the defense will be solid to come out. I could see the offense maybe slower starting, kind of gelling. Florida State, though, you feel like with all this they have to score on their first possession or it's going to be over. You can't trash talk, script that first series and not come out the gate firing. So, I could see a slow first quarter or something like that, but I think Alabama takes over. And I think our depth, and I just think we're just better than them, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hands. I mean, I don't think that's a question, man. What do you guys think? What's the game plan? Alabama's offensive game plan going into Tallahassee. I have thoughts on this, and I would like to hear all of you, our guys included, what you think Alabama will try to do.
I think it's definitely got to be a balanced game plan, and that's something that we want to see that we didn't quite get to see too much of last year. Good balance between the run and the pass. And in the past, I'm not just talking about the ride out 2.0 or whatever we want to call them, but I'm talking about using our tight ends as well. But overall, it's just going to come down to ball distribution at the end of the day and what Ty Simpson can do. And I'm under the impression that Ty is going to be QB1. I know, some people came out today like, if all 3 of them are still going at it, I get that, and that's what you have to say. But Ty is probably going to be QB number 1. As long as he can get rid of the ball and give the ball to all his playmakers, I think we should be just fine. And keep the offense on the field long enough for our defense to get some rest. Again, with that sweltering heat, we don't want the defense on the field for too long. So I'm looking for the offense. Yeah.
Jay Will, what do you think, man?
I think that one of the biggest factors that you have to look at coming into the season is going to be, Coach DeBoer said this on day 3 of media days, which is something that we haven't seen at Alabama, even under Saban at the end of his career, was continuity. Colin Hitchler was the only coach that we lost on this coaching staff during the offseason. And then you're returning 9 of 11 defensive starters. And then on the offensive side of the ball, you're bringing back 3 of the starting offensive linemen from last year's team, but you bring in Dewberry from A&M, who started every game, and he was phenomenal in pass protection. So I think you're basically adding that 4th guy that was like a starter. And then, you have Formby, you have 5-star Michael Carroll that's come in. The offensive line, I think, is going to take another step forward. Receiving core is loaded. The big question is going to be what you guys said earlier is Ty Simpson. That is the question mark. And
biggest
I'm
one
excited about it because I think that the defense is going to be nasty. And I think that if things go the way that I think they're going to go, I think Florida State is going to be a much more challenging team than Bama fans may want based off of last year's performance. But I still think that Alabama is going to beat them by 2 touchdowns or more.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. I think going into Doak Campbell Stadium, I don't care if Florida State is trash. That's an intimidating environment to play in. Ty Simpson's going to be first time as a starter on the road. We talked to Herb Rodg. You guys talked about the humidity issues. Do you think there's any chance, although we all think that Kalen DeBoer, Ryan Grubb are going to want to air this thing out, do you think there's any chance Bama goes in there, like tells their offensive line to man up and just tries to control the game on the ground?
I absolutely think so.
Yeah.
I absolutely think they're going to establish the run. We're also deep. I mean, everybody talks at least about 5 running backs that you might see get action. So I don't think you're worried about somebody wearing down, especially in that heat. But I think that'd be Ty Simpson's best friend. Let's loosen up the defense by attacking with the run first. So,
agreed.
No,
way less pressure on Ty if you can establish a running game. It opens up play action, opens up things, little things over the top.
Yeah.
And like you said, if you can just not turn the ball over.
Yes.
And just make the easy throws. I mean, that's all it's not like we're not actually a thread of needle here. There's the guys are going to be open all day. The receivers are too good. They're going to be open all day. Just put the ball where they can catch it.
Yeah. Yeah. He couldn't ask for a better wide receiving core. We joked about Rideouts 2.0. I made a post about that earlier in the week, and a lot of people were like, "Whoa, man, what are you talking about?" But Jacob and I were talking. Alabama this season, their starting wide receivers. There's 3 potential first-round wide receivers in that room. Obviously, Ryan Williams down the road, Jeremy Bernard, who's already projected as a first-rounder, and I think Isaiah Horton will be a first-rounder before it's said and done. So you get Ty Simpson in there. If the offensive line does what we think it's going to do, there's no excuse for him not to perform well. But I think to Herb's point, I think it starts with the running game, and I think as Alabama fans, we're going to eat that alive because that's Bama football 101, right? Everything works off of the run, like Jeff said, play action pass, and so. But I do think Bama busts this thing wide open pretty quick. I do with that secondary, especially the defense. I think Castellanos, his mouth might have written a check that he can't cash.
Yep.
And I know it's just talk. I want to see it on the field, but when you have Deontay Lawson, Tim Keenan at SEC Media Days, bringing up, disrespect will be, it'll be paid for. And they say addressed. Yeah. They said the exact same thing. They're going to be gunning for that kid. I wouldn't want to.
You don't hear a lot of people talking about it, but I think like you guys said, there's going to be a balance on offense. But I have a feeling that they're going to set the tone with the defense, and it's
definitely.
It's going to be I'm going to say Bama wins by 20 plus.
Yeah, he went too far when he mentioned Saban. That was the thing. There's trash talk, and then there's just like a little bit of a low. But there was no reason to bring it up.
That's just.
And then when he was talking to Isaiah Horton, he kind of tried to retract his statement a little bit. He was like, "Listen, man, I was just trying to get my guys pumped up." Like, okay, well, you got us pumped up instead.
Well, you got some guys pumped up, all right. Like, that's cool.
Fortunately, you have the wrong effect there.
The wrong guys. The wrong guys.
Well, he didn't even know that he played for Bama at first, did he?
No, he didn't.
Kind of took him off guard.
Danger, Earthling.
Yeah, he's playing with power tools.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, he didn't. But I just, to me, you got 2 leaders on that defense that specifically brought it up. Like Roger, they said the exact same thing. Like, that's not something they're going to easily forget. No. Now, my thing is, Jacob can attest to this. Chris, Jeff, you haven't seen it in full swing yet, but every season, I can get really hype or I can get really down. And so, I remember it was 2016 when we opened against USC.
Oh yeah.
You were checked out at the end of the first quarter, weren't you?
Well, no, I was like, look, like everybody's super high. We're torching the Trojans, but I'm like, hold on. Like, everybody, I want you to pay attention to what's happening. Everybody Hurts' hitting is wide open. And I don't like what that looks like leading into the weeks, in the SEC play. And it panned out exactly like I thought it was going to. He wasn't efficient. He wasn't consistent as a passer throughout the season. So I'm sure I'll find something in this game to nitpick and be upset at. I'll make a video about it.
You will. They're going to start slow. Offensively is going to start slow.
It's going to be
I agree with
the first 3 and out.
Be prepared. We may not score in the first quarter. It's going to be
over
okay.
5.
The game's past the board by. We need to get the whole program.
Hey, Kyle said he's not waiting that long. If we lose the coin toss, he's like, "What the heck? Making the video. Making the video.
Get on the bus. Let's get out of here."
Sweet home Alabama. I'll hear it.
6 years ago.
Hey, look, man. I will still stand on this hill by myself. And Alabama fans, I'm an Alabama fan. They may not like it. But for somebody who's supposed to be a DB guru, there were a lot of DBs in Nick Saban's tenure at Alabama who were laying on their face while somebody's running 20 yards down the field.
Some good DBs too.
I'm just saying. I think it's okay to
stay engaged. That was the deal. They want to stay engaged.
Don't blame the coach because you can only coach so much.
They were coached to not turn around and find the ball. They were coached to stay engaged, and then the ball would just go right over the top of their head for big catch after big catch.
Yeah,
you're like, if you just turned around, the ball would hit you right in your chest.
That was
I think that's one of the big differences in the way Womack coaches the defense, though, is he does that. That's not how he teaches the DBs. Mo Linguist, I think, has done a phenomenal job back there.
Yeah,
I do
absolutely.
Too. I agree with that.
Absolutely. Who was it? PFF just dropped their defensive rankings for the 2025 season. They've got Alabama sitting at number 1. I'm okay with that, honestly. I mean, typically I wouldn't put Bama at 1, but I'm
the bar high.
Well, I mean, Phil Steele is the guy that I respect a ton when it comes to just his knowledge of the game and the teams. He's got Bama projected at number 3 defensively. But I don't know that I agree that the 2 that he put ahead of them are going to be better defensively.
Who are they? Clemson and Texas?
No, Penn State and Texas. There's a lot of people that got Penn State because they return pretty much every starter on both sides of the ball. There's a lot of people that are projecting them to win the national championship this year, which I think is funny. But
Penn State?
Yes. They've got I don't know, somebody can look it up, but I think they've got like a 4th-year starting quarterback. Returning.
They'll be in the playoffs.
Apparently, Drew Aller is supposed to be like the next big thing, but I don't see it yet from him. I didn't see it last year or the previous year, so I'm not sure.
He's like Nussmeier to me. He's just a guy. He'll be a solid player. They'll go 11-2. Or 10-3 or whatever, and they'll get in the playoffs, I think, and then they'll flame out.
Their schedule is not hard, man.
No.
It never is. The problem is they can just never beat the best teams. They're
until they get to the
lose
playoffs.
To Ohio State, let me lose to Michigan, let me lose to Oregon, and be in that 3rd or 4th spot.
Yeah.
No
two
big
games
games
to the same 2 teams every year.
I don't even think they play Michigan this year. They've got Ohio State at Ohio State, and then they got Oregon. I feel like
Iowa. Yeah, they've got Iowa.
So there's their 2 losses, Ohio State and Oregon.
I don't think they're going to lose both of them. I think they're going to lose one of them, but not both.
You think that they're going to beat Oregon and Ohio State?
No, I think they'll beat one of them and lose one
of the 2. They're losing Ohio State, I think.
Yes, I think so too.
They've shown not even a light at the end of the tunnel versus Ohio State. Like, they're even anywhere close to turning the corner there.
Like, Franklin hasn't shown me his ability to win like the big game in the playoffs or that type of situation. So I just don't. I don't
Brian
see
Kelly.
Championship.
He's the same as Brian Kelly. I agree. Except Brian Kelly's a 9-10 win guy now that he's in the SEC and not 11 or 12 wins.
That actually is a nice segue because I want to. This is completely off topic, way off sides. This is unscripted. We're free balling here, baby.
We freestyling, baby. Spitting bars.
I'm looking at the schedule. I brought up the Penn State schedule. I want to go through it really quick. And
do you have a graphic on
doing this? No, I don't, because this again we're free balling, and so free balling. Anyway, so you got Nevada, Nevada, FIU, Villanova, Oregon.
What?
At UCLA. Northwestern comes to Happy Valley. At Iowa. At Ohio State. Indiana. Michigan
Go
State.
back to the first 3 games again.
Yeah, man.
Can you repeat the first 3 games?
Nevada, FIU, and Villanova.
What?
Oh, man. You got to watch out for those
basketball.
FIU
Is this a basket? That's why I'm saying, is that a basketball game?
I put it up there, Cotton. If you want to,
Oh, you did?
Yeah, at the bottom.
Oh,
I
yeah,
can't
let's do that.
it.
Boom!
Hey.
I put it up there, Cotton.
Well, we have to bring some value to the show, Raj.
Right.
Why are you just crapping on them, man? I appreciate the help, Herb.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you can't see
All
it
right,
because
so
it's
Nevada,
over.
Florida International, Villanova. Wow.
Yeah, but look at it. Like if you, Jeff, let's just say you're right. I mean, you're looking at their first loss being Oregon, and then they win the next 3, and then they lose to Ohio State. I mean, that gets you.
Yeah.
That's
They're
going to
gonna
get
make
them
the
to the playoff easily.
Yep.
Yeah, they're gonna make.
Oh yeah.
But that's the Penn State thing. Let me drop the 2 most important games and still just be fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
You know?
That's all you need.
The bigger point, and Tim just mentioned it, is that the Big Ten wants the SEC to play non-conference games when that's their typical conference schedule.
Right.
I don't understand.
Nova.
I mean, give us Rutgers every year, and we'll set
I'll play
That's why I said if we're going to play
Rutgers
9-conference game, I need to know who that 9th game is going to be. If it's going to be like before we play Auburn, it can't be like Georgia or something like that. Or are we going to bring another team into
Oklahoma,
the SEC?
apparently.
Yeah.
I mean,
can you imagine you get LSU, Georgia, and Auburn all back to back?
Right.
Like, no,
Like, come on.
Yeah, I'll pass.
Yeah.
But that's why the SEC wants the extra at bid or at large, because dude, you're going 8-4 if you add on Bama, Georgia, Texas, like those big.
That's why the formula needs to come back, because it takes into account your opponents who you play.
Bring back the computers, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get ridiculous big Mountain West team with a bye in the playoffs. The first round bye playing a Mountain West schedule.
And the Big Ten now wants 4 guaranteed spots too.
For who?
Guaranteed bids.
Who's going to be the 4th?
These automatic bids.
No, I mean they're just every year they want 4 periods.
Well, I mean they're assuming they
Ohio
got
State, Oregon,
Penn State,
and
Michigan. So does the SEC.
Michigan. Yeah, I forgot Oregon's in the Big Ten.
Yes, Lance is right. Cotton, Chat GPT can tell us who the playoff teams are, right?
Let's do it. Hold on, that's a great idea.
All right, you guys keep letting the computers decide something. Don't be surprised when Vanderbilt gets a #1 seed because they.
Hey, it's like NCAA 26, the new college football game. 8-5, Vanderbilt ranked #1.
All right, I asked. All right, here we go. Are you guys ready for this? The top 4 seeds, likely first round buys: Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, and Georgia.
Georgia.
Ask it again.
We got a Georgia fan in the chat.
5 through 12, Clemson, Oregon, BYU.
That's our boy Randy. We never believe it.
Randy.
He always says this at the beginning of the year, though, and it's like he's trying to gas us up. So,
Randy, we need you to come on the show and talk about Georgia.
Randy's always available.
Oh yeah,
Who's Randy?
So
Where's Randy? Randy, also be a member.
we love Randy.
Sorry, Randy.
We had SMU in it with a human buffoonery. That's right.
Oh man. SEC Media Days. That's kind of what we were talking about a little bit before in terms of this FSU game. We're talking about the Tim Keenan comments, the Deontay Lawson comments. By the way, Lawson may not play in that game. I think he's probably going to do everything he can, but he may not play in that game. So it's just a storyline to kind of keep an eye on as we get closer to the season. He said he's not 100%, but he should be good to go.
Okay.
But he had the ACL.
I got a feeling he'll play in that game in some capacity. Whether it's half the plays or every third series or something, just so he doesn't.
Yeah, but if he doesn't play, I mean, I'd let him rest that game, and then I'd let him rest Louisiana Monroe, and maybe even Wisconsin, to be honest.
So if he's not right, he needs to. Yeah, you can rest him.
I'm going to go and tell you those boys from Wisconsin will be dead when they get.
Certainly, man. Yeah.
September 11 o'clock.
They toast, man. They are toast.
I think they'll be fine obviously I want Deontay Lawson to play just because I like him and I'm glad that he decided to come back. I want to see him succeed. But Nakai Hill-Green is, he has a ton of experience, and I think that he is going to be a phenomenal addition to the linebacking core. So,
yeah.
Can I say something on that one though? You don't want his first game to be Georgia. If you can,
I was just about to say.
Okay, sorry, my bad, Jeff. Yeah,
I'm agreeing with you. Like, ease him in a week before, or 2 weeks before, get him some reps. I don't want his first reps.
That would be, I guess, the Wisconsin game. Then he'll get another week of rest. Then play. That's a good point, Herb.
Yeah.
What? I'm sorry. What?
Say that again, please.
No, Jeff. Anybody else want to say something?
Oh, I'm running that one back.
I'll give you a compliment every once in a while.
We'll clip it and I'll send you the video.
I appreciate that. You got to save everyone. It doesn't happen often.
I could tell a noticeable difference in DeBoer this year and last year. You could tell he's much more comfortable this year.
Yeah.
Speaking, at media days, he was much more confident in what he was saying. It's almost like he knows his team just a little bit better than he did last year.
I agree.
He's waded in the water now for a year. This is his squad now. This is his team now.
The culture
you could just tell his body language, just the way he was speaking and answering questions, and the way he was talking about the team.
Mm-hmm.
You could really tell a difference.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Jay Clay, Xavier Griffin's mom. That's kind of what she was talking about when we had them on. She was discussing the culture and how this is now. You can feel it. It's Kalen DeBoer's team, and Jacob talked to it a minute ago. That continuity there, and it's not just the staff. It's also the roster. We didn't lose anybody in that spring portal, and so these guys that are going to take the field together in late August, like they've been through it together. Like I keep every time I do a long form video, I keep using the word galvanize, but like they've been through it together. A lot of them went through that transition period together. I think he knows what he's got. He
built that bond.
He said this is the most coachable team he's ever had.
Yeah.
I love hearing that.
I think it
feel good.
Yeah. I think in the long run, you're going to find that the losses they had last year and the embarrassing losses are going to be better for them in the long term. I think that was kind of the welcome to SEC moment. So imagine if the team goes 10-2 last year and, in the playoffs, maybe win a playoff game and they're kind of a little more relaxed coming into this year versus everyone has something to prove and they're backing the coach. I think that's what you're going to see, from this year. I think the losses actually will help.
Yes, I agree. The chips on the shoulder, I think, especially on the defensive side, are going to be large. You're going to see a defense with a mission.
Can I do a fun hypothetical real quick?
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
All right. So I just was thinking about this the other day. I think it's interesting. Obviously, like I don't expect a meaning behind it, but you had Nick Saban in 2007 comes in and has I guess we would call it just an average year.
Yeah.
Then in his second season, he goes undefeated, loses the SEC championship. So he comes up one game short of the national title. And then if you go back to, I would equate, I know last year wasn't as bad record-wise as 2007, but from an Alabama fan perspective, losing 3 regular season games is it's a
in the last month
season.
Yes.
Okay. So he has a subpar season, misses the playoff. And then in his second season, I think that it's funny that just like in Nick Saban's second season, you start out against an ACC opponent and you go to Athens a few games later. So Saban clobbered Clemson in game 1 in 2008 and then blasted
I was at that game
a few games later. And I'm just, for fun, I'm hoping for a similar outcome.
I agree.
It's happening.
Just not one game short of the national.
I don't know that we can go to Athens and win that game just yet. We haven't seen nothing from the quarterback. So
I agree with you. I mean,
so if our quarterbacks look average in the first 4 games, we're going to be going, oh, we're in trouble Saturday.
Yeah.
But if they light it up, we're going to be feeling good. But if Ty gets benched by the fourth game and we don't know who we are on offense, we're going to not be feeling so good going into Athens.
I don't disagree, but I'm also looking at Georgia, and I think that Georgia is in a similar situation. I don't think Gunner is just elite quarterback.
Right.
So they're going to be working.
So he's got to be experienced.
Yes, they're going to be working through. They have lost depth. Their recruiting has still been good there, but it has not been at that elite. Let me just stack 4 and 5 stars at my third and fourth string. Like that's what Kirby has been complaining about with NIL, is it makes it more difficult for these teams to hold on to that depth because the Ole Miss and teams like that are pulling them.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly right.
I don't know. I think that I talk to my brother about it all the time, and my brother feels better about the Georgia game than he does other games on the schedule.
Yeah. To me, the one that really stands out is the South Carolina game. Just because I could see Bama squeaking one out in Athens and everybody kind of doing a communal exhale, like, all right, we got, yeah, exactly. We got through that one. And then all of a sudden you go to Columbia, and Lenore Sellers is no joke. And
here's the difference.
Shane Beamer's got that team trending the right way.
Right. But now they're expected to compete and win. And last year, nobody cared. So they snuck up. They didn't have the target, but this year is going to be a little different because they're going to be expected to compete.
Yeah.
And not every team handles that well.
Our show. Yeah. With South Carolina. So that's a great point.
Yeah.
There's a big difference when you're expected to compete.
Eric asked a personnel question. I just want to talk about really quick. You talked about Keon Keeley. I mean, he's going to be probably third in that rotation at the bandit position. He'll be behind Jordan Renaud and LT Overton. But here's the thing I think that you're going to see a lot more of. You saw it last year. Womack got really good about keeping those guys fresh. James Smith he started popping towards the end of the season because he was getting in on that rotation. And so I think that might be a little bit of a priority this year is rotating the guys on that defensive line if they can, keeping them fresh. I think Womack's he understands probably the frustration with how close Alabama kept getting last year to putting a quarterback on his butt, and then they didn't finish. So one way to combat that is you keep fresh legs in there. So I think you're going to see a good bit of Keeley this year. He's not going to be a starter. He's not going to be the guy that comes out on that first defensive snap versus FSU, but you're going to see a good bit of him this year.
He could be like almost that Tim Williams factor where it's third down and they just put a guy in to rush the passer.
Well, I got another guy that Jacob and I were talking about that I think.
Didn't Keeley put on like 37 or 40 pounds too?
A bunch of them did.
Like he's beefed up.
Yeah. Pritchett did.
Marshall Pritchett got huge, man.
Yeah, Caleb Edwards. A lot of them put on a ton of weight, man. I don't know. Did you guys see the pictures? Yeah, the pictures of Jeremy Bernard in the gym.
Yeah,
guy looks like a middle linebacker in the NFL.
Yeah,
it's nuts. And so
looks like Reggie Ragland.
yeah. I got a fun story about Reggie Ragland. You guys want to hear it?
Yes.
I guess.
So.
Really, Chris?
I want to make sure I tell this right. So I used to work closely with Reggie Ragland at UA, him and Kenyon Drake. And I'll tell this story. Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for that. So Reggie comes into my office one evening, and he's got this big like Route 44 cup just filled with raw shrimp. And he's sitting there, and we're kind of going over a lecture. I was tutoring him, and we're going over a lecture, and he's just sitting there shoving his face with raw shrimp. Coolest, most country dude I've ever met in my life. And then one day, Kenyon Drake comes in. You hear kind of a scuffle out in the hallway. Kenyon Drake comes in. He's a little banged up in the face. Really wouldn't tell us what was going on. And then his time's up, and Reggie walks in, and Reggie's knuckles are all busted up. And I'm pretty sure, I never asked. I was scared to ask, but I'm pretty sure Reggie and him kind of got into it, and Reggie gave him a
shiner.
Yeah. I thought it was a funnier story. So thanks, guys, for just.
Lance said, "Is there a Roman candle in the
Hey, man,
story?"
that was entertaining. That was entertaining.
Lance. Oh, Lance.
Oh,
I should have never told you all that. I should have never told you all that story.
Well, it was funny. And you forgot. You forgot to tell it on the 4th of July.
I did. I could tell it right now. Herb, Raj, have you heard my Roman candle story?
there it is.
I don't think
Go
so.
for it.
I don't think so.
When I was a kid, my mom worked 2 jobs, so we were left unsupervised a lot, too much. And one 4th of July, I had this neighbor. I won't say her name. Sweet girl, but she was Muslim and she wore the hijab headdress. She was my age.
Call her Mia.
God.
Come on, man. Well, we're kids with fireworks. What do? You shoot them at each other. And I had a Roman candle, and I set her job on fire.
Wow.
She was fine. She's okay. I actually was inspired by telling the story a few weeks ago, and I checked up on her, and she's doing well. And so, dude, come on, man.
She's scarred for life, but she's doing well.
What's her name for real?
I'm not gonna say it on the show.
She's in witness protection, Raj.
Yeah, I'll put it in the private chat. But seriously,
she ended up going home to have a great acting career.
Oh, got you. Okay.
What's sad is that everybody knows exactly who we're talking about. That's what's
I don't. Who are you guys talking about? What's happening?
Nice try, Diddy.
$500 later.
Wow.
Anyway,
We have derailed, and we're back.
Yeah. That's why it's called Waaaay Offsides, man. Did the burns leave a scar? No, I don't. It wasn't that serious. Anyway, so
Emotional scarring, but not physical.
Yeah.
That's right. Emotionals, definitely emotionals. Yeah,
she's no longer Muslim, which I think is my fault, and so
probably.
Oh, yeah.
This story gets worse. The layers to this story.
Yikes.
She left the country. She's no longer Muslim.
Right.
She's got emotionally scarring.
She got thrown out of school,
Okay.
kicked out of the country, lost her religion.
Yep.
Sorry.
Family probably disowned her.
Yeah, if you're watching, I apologize. It was my mom's fault. She shouldn't have left my little firework.
This is me, mum.
Usually you shoot fireworks at girls you got crushes on. You have a crush on her?
No, I did not. No, we just grew up together. So a lot of people don't know about. We're just telling you all my personal information. So I grew up really, really poor. My dad was never around. My mom, bless her heart, she worked her tail off. But we grew up in like Section 8 housing. And so the kids in those neighborhoods, like we were super close knit, man. We all did everything together. And so, and this was back in the time where instead of playing video games all Saturday, you were out on your bike, going exploring, getting into stuff you should, Stand By Me type stuff. And so, I mean, we're all close. You never seen Stand By Me?
No.
It's a great movie.
Yes,
Thank
you
you.
have. Yes, you have.
I don't know. I have not.
Dead body?
You've seen Stand By Me.
No, the only movie I've ever watched about a dead body was Boys in the Hood. I mean, really.
I mean,
they're the same movie.
Yeah, basically
pretty much.
Essentially.
Maybe.
Some of the same characters.
But now
Told
that's
from a different perspective.
Yeah, my experience was probably more Boys in the Hood. So we were the only white family in the entire neighborhood.
Oh, so kind of like 8 Mile. I got you.
No, I did not rap. No. And what was cool
but you threw up mom's
no Greg
spaghetti.
Buells in there?
No. So I had this friend, his name was Otis, and his mom, Viola, sweetest old Southern woman. This is up in Calhoun County, Alabama. She's passed away now, so I can divulge this. But she used to, every Friday night, she'd have all the neighborhood kids come over, and she would make snacks, and she would tell us ghost stories.
Oh, God, I thought this was going another direction.
Friday night, they had the kids come over.
She was awesome.
The story everyone has in their heads is like a little bit crazier than the story that's actually coming out.
I thought you were going to say she was going to make like catfish on the weekend or something like that.
She was feeding you kids s'mores.
Yeah. I got one more, and then we'll get back. So there was also a lady who actually lived next door to her, that used to sell. She would take Kool-Aid, freeze it in her deep freezer, and sell it for 50 cents.
Called Jello shots.
Yeah, basically. But she was blind. And so what we would do is we would go find bottle caps and throw them in the road and let cars run them over, and then go take them to her house, and she would think they were quarters. And she would give us.
So you shot the Muslim lady and you robbed the blind lady. Like anything else?
Holy Lord.
You skimmed over the lady that told us ghost story.
What?
Can we cut this out in post?
No, it's live. It's live, baby. We live. What? It's on the internet now. It's there forever.
Oh man. I didn't do anything that bad.
Yeah.
No, that's not the word.
I think I did.
What?
She was blind and had one leg.
Wait,
she had to pull herself around on her knees like Eddie Murphy in Trading Places. She's on that little cart.
Wait, did I just see a child?
Or was that the Waaaay Offsides ghost?
Chris
been the ghost.
You got to step out. Say what's up.
I don't know if you want to hear any of my stories.
Yo,
what's going on?
That is my nephew.
Who's going to be the starting quarterback for Alabama? Tell us.
Who's going to be the starting quarterback for Alabama? Tyson. He said me.
That's right.
We might be in trouble.
We're in trouble.
Hey, that's what Jet Tamala said when we asked him.
Yeah, he did. He was like,
me, Martha Fokker, Mr. Falcon.
Oh, I didn't think about that cat. Thank you. Now I feel terrible.
She did. She'd go in there with a handful, put it on the counter, and like, man, these are bottle caps. And then she's heartbroken.
She probably had them all rolled and took them to the
bank. Yeah, she probably died from starvation.
She had plenty of popsicles she could eat. No, she'd have been all right.
Well, I don't think it works that way.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually you got to have protein.
All right, let's get
No, Cotton said they ate all her popsicles and they replaced them with sticks dipped in mud. And stuck them in the freezer.
Oh, goodness.
I
anyway,
can't believe this.
This is ridiculousness. All right.
It is.
I don't know if you guys heard. I don't know if you guys heard, but former Alabama quarterback Greg McElroy heard from a very reliable source.
Oh, Lord.
Here we go.
So reliable that he wouldn't have said it. That Nick Saban's going to return to coaching at some point in time. That rumor took off. Well, I think it was taken out of context.
That's how little news there is.
Yeah, it turned into a big rumor that swept the internet. And then today, Kristen Saban, daughter of Nick Saban, put concerns for Alabama fans. Sorry. Tell your husband hi. Tell him to subscribe.
Like first, then subscribe.
Put those concerns to bed and pretty much said, hey, the old man's hanging it up. It's over.
Yeah.
Don't get your hopes up. And so, what do you think? What's Greg McElroy's angle? Like, is he
fine bombing it?
Engagement.
Yes. Yeah.
He knew it was some first day SEC media days or whatever. He just wanted some engagement. He knew exactly what he was doing. And it worked. It worked. Everybody went crazy about it.
It worked like a champ.
Well, when would he come back, or if the situation was right and all this? Dude, he's not coming back.
Break.
Come on.
Yeah.
He might be mad at Cube, but there's a reason Kubelik gets the views. Like for a Barner, Kubelik's a cool dude.
I'm tell you, I would rather listen to Tyler Siskey than I would Greg McElroy. All day, every day.
McElroy is all since he started. Like he's giving me the vibe that he wants to be the next Herb Street, and really? He's always got.
If you could,
I feel like he's trying too hard to be the next Kirk Herbstreit.
Yeah,
and I just don't think
he might be the next Marty Smith.
Hey, I like Marty Smith. Don't disrespect Marty Smith like that.
I'm just saying, Marty Smith should have stuck to NASCAR.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Herbstreit's never really made a living off of sensationalism. I mean, people don't like him, but he's because of his opinions. But
he's just football knowledge.
I don't care.
It's college football passion and knowledge, I think, is what. But he's not a shock jock like Feinbaum is. Arch Manning, the greatest quarterback in the SEC of all time ever.
Yep.
What?
Dude, I'm about to. I'm telling you, the first time I see Paul Feinbaum in person, it's on site. I have had enough of that with this Arch Manning thing.
He gonna fold you.
You see him swoon, walk past him at media day.
Yeah, he's like,
He's like,
I fist bump Arch Manning. Like, dude, settle down.
Yeah,
man.
Let me ask y'all a question. What do you think Arch's stats are going to look like his first game at Ohio State?
Like they did his last high school game. Go look those stats up.
Homie's throwing for under 200 yards.
Look up his last stats of his last high school game. That's why I don't believe all the Arch hype.
I think that he's going to have decent yards on the ground, but I think that
he'll get loose on a scramble or two.
Yeah, but Sark is clever enough. Yeah, he's a clever enough offensive mind that I think he can scheme up yards for him. I just feel like that's a horrible first game for him to start.
Yeah.
He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it last season versus Georgia.
Hell, Sark put
Sark didn't have
Quinn
anything
Ewers.
like
Sark made the playoffs with Quinn Ewers as a quarterback. Like Sark is an offensive genius.
Right, but why wasn't Arch Manning the quarterback? If he's so much
same
better,
reason that he was stuck with what's his name?
Was he though? That, I don't
Forrest Gump.
I mean, no, not really. I mean, if Arch Manning's that good, start him.
He's the Manning.
I mean, it's easy for us to say that, but I think that when you're in like Sark's position, just like you're in DeBoer's position,
bingo.
You
Hands are tied.
You have to go with you got to go with that experience in that situation. Even Saban went with Hurts to start the national championship, and
he was awful for a month leading into that game.
But I mean, look at what we saw what happened. He went with the guy with experience, and you see where we ended up.
Sure,
that's what I'm saying. They get tied to a QB and they can't do anything.
Yeah. But I feel like DeBoer didn't really have a choice where Sark, had both these guys. I feel like Sark could have
zero choice
at any moment. So.
And that was obvious by the fact that Milroe never lost his job last year, as bad as he played in 3 of those 4 losses.
Yeah,
they were all.
We could have put Ty Simpson in the Waaaay Quest Bowl. Let's be honest.
DeBoer was holding. He was trying to hold a team together. He was trying to hold a locker room.
He would have lost the locker room.
Right, Chris.
Yes, absolutely.
But I would have had Ty play in the second half regardless of outcome.
If I was a college coach in a D1 school, I wouldn't give a shit. We'd be out there like the little giants. I would bench everybody.
No, you wouldn't.
No, you
I would.
Then that contract isn't going to get you to year 2.
You don't want to be a coach.
They can buy me out. I'll be like, I'll be like,
you would never take the job because you know that that's your mindset. So you would never take the job.
Yeah.
I don't want a job like that.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't get why more of these coaches don't do like the Cam Ward thing. If my guy is leaving, I want to see what my next guy is doing.
Exactly.
So I would always have a plan to play the backup in the last quarter to get him to live. Right. What do you have to lose at that point?
And we were all hoping that Ty would get some reps in that Michigan game, and then we ended up playing like crap and trailing the whole game. And then
at that point we
yanked Milroe out by then. Like
put him in.
And my whole thing last year was maybe they did that on purpose because they knew they'd be running a way different offense this year, and they didn't want to waste Ty's reps on an offense he wasn't even going to be running this year. And this was before the grub was available,
Right.
Maybe I'm wrong, but that's the way I kind of thought about it. But then it was like, but he just would not sit Milroe no matter what.
Well, go back and look at the season. And what you were hoping for was, as talented as the offense was and as good as the defense performed, I think you were hoping for a big enough lead in several of those games that you could have went with Ty and had your backups in there. But once teams started adjusting and forcing Milroe to be
the quarterback,
they were like, we're going to give you the pass. We're going to take your legs away. Once they transitioned to that defense, Ty never had a shot, man. Like, these games were a lot closer than they should have been.
Yeah. I mean, he should have been benched in the Oklahoma game. He should have been benched in the second half of that Tennessee game. There's no reason we should have lost that Tennessee. We should have won that Tennessee game by 14 points minimum.
We had them shut out in the first half. Defense,
minimum
that game,
and
Milroe
was just so offense was so bad that game.
Yeah,
but he should have been benched that game. He should have been benched the Oklahoma game, like the second quarter.
I think if you go back and watch the South Carolina game, you're going to see that his performance was why that was so tight.
Yeah.
And the defense played good in that game. The only defensive performance that I thought sucked was Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. And he just got man-zealed. We got whipped by that man-zeal type quarterback, scramble around, get loose, and then make good throws.
Yeah.
I don't.
We also got whipped by the Georgia game. That's what happened there. We were riding in.
Yeah, some of it, and I don't think Womack was. I don't think he at all expected what Vanderbilt threw at them.
No.
I mean, you don't expect that from a team like Vanderbilt, and then you just never could adjust to it. That game. I mean, anyway, I mean it is what it is. But looking ahead to 2025, on that note, talking about Sark versus whomever, I got the hot take here. I got Texas losing 3 games this season.
I have an 8-4. I got a hotter take.
Wow, Herb got an 8-4.
So Herb, I'm going to assume my 3 are losses for you. So I'm just going to go through my 3, and then I want to hear your 4th if you don't mind. They're losing to Ohio State, they're losing to Georgia, and then they're losing on the road at Florida. What do you have?
Let me see.
I'm surprised Herb didn't pull up the schedule.
I was about to ask him, can he pull it up?
It's down there. I don't have the ability to put it on the screen.
Herb, you're the man, bro. Oh, sorry, y'all.
All right.
So Ohio State lost. Georgia lost. One of Florida or Oklahoma somehow. And what was the last? Arkansas and Texas A&M. I have them losing one of those somehow.
Here you go. There you go.
I think you picked A&M. I think.
A&M?
Did you?
Yep. I said either. I did them in groups. So I had. Hey, what's up, Colin?
Oh,
hi.
There we go.
Yeah. So you lose to Ohio State, right? You lose to Florida. If you don't lose Florida, I gave you Oklahoma. You're going to lose at Georgia. And then I think I might go with Arkansas or Texas A&M. I know the Arkansas, I'm not expecting much from that, but it just feels like one of those, you've just survived Georgia. You're looking ahead to Texas A&M.
That's one of Sam Pittman's. How the hell did he win that game? That's one of those games where you're like, how did Arkansas win that game?
Yeah.
They're going to fall into the Vandy trap.
How would
So I like the 9-3, and my bold was 8-4.
How would Feinbaum react if Texas did not make the playoff with Arch Manning?
He'd pretend like he never said any of that.
Yeah, he would just find something else ridiculous to say.
He's already said DeBoer's on the hot seat this year.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, which is absolutely insane. Jeff, can you fix that? Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I got Texas 10-2.
Really? Georgia and Ohio State?
Yeah.
Dude,
I'm with you, Cod, though. I think they just drop one of those others,
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man, and I know I've said this a lot,
Florida,
but watch out for Florida.
Yep, no, they're definitely trending up. I think they're going to be solid.
Yeah.
So
that could be why.
Hang on, I want to say something real quick.
Okay.
But again, everybody's expecting something from Florida now, and teams react to that different. At Alabama, every year is an expectation, but teams that are usually also ran suddenly with these high expectations, they hit different. Man, it's a different animal when you're expected to do.
Yeah, this is what I thought. Florida. I mean, pull up Florida schedule, Herb, and put it on there.
Yeah. Thanks, Herb.
You're the man.
We got a new producer here. I like this.
And look at how difficult their schedule is.
This is who? Florida's?
Florida.
Florida's is tough.
I think they're going to be trending up, but I think it's going to be really difficult for them.
Yeah.
Long Island University.
Long Island University.
What is that?
Long Island Lolitas?
Jay Will's like, that's not how I wanted to make my argument. Okay, I was talking about the rest of their schedule.
Exactly. Look at the rest of their schedule.
That's wild, dude. At LSU, at Miami, at Texas A&M, at Ole Miss.
I give them about 8 wins.
Yeah, and look, you got LSU, Miami, Texas A&M back to back. That's a gauntlet. And then you've got Georgia. You got to go to Ole Miss. That's not an easy game. Mm-hmm. Tennessee is not going to be an easy game. And I actually think Florida State is going to be a challenging game. But I think Florida's going to win that one.
But look at that Kentucky sandwich between Georgia and Ole Miss. That's a tough at Kentucky.
If Kentucky's defense plays like they did last year, that could be a tough game.
That could be a tough game sandwiched in between those two.
That's why I think that they are going to be trending in the right direction, but their schedule their record may not reflect.
Yeah, 8-4, man. 8-4.
8-4 for the Gators. 8-4 for the Longhorns.
But I feel like 8-4 will be good enough to keep Nussmeier around, though. I mean not Nussmeier, but Napier.
Napier. Yeah, especially with this recruiting class.
I think he's
down right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I thought Napier was fired last year.
Yes.
And
That's
that
how
what's his
Lagway
name?
saved his job.
Koresh was going to be the new coach.
Here's the thing about that. All 6 games that Lagway started, they won, and they won the majority of them convincingly. So
they were 6-0 with him as a starter,
except for Georgia, right? Because he got knocked out. So
I don't think he started in that game, did he?
I thought he started the Georgia game.
Oh, maybe he did. Maybe
was it the other guy? I forgot the other guy's name.
It might have been Mertz. You know what? I'm gonna look it up. Thank you, Google. We do this on the show all the time. We just Google stuff. So let's see. Bring up the box score here.
Man, the SEC is gonna be a bloodbath this year.
Yes.
Yep.
Man. It looks like he did. Yeah, it looks like he did start. I may be incorrect there, but I mean, they were tied within 10 minutes of that game being left. A couple things bounced Georgia's way.
Yeah.
So
we're with you as far as that goes. He was giving them heck, and then before he gets knocked out.
I didn't realize how big DJ Lagway was. Man, he's a big dude.
Yeah. I mean, our Auburn Anonymous friends have Auburn 11-1 this year.
Well, that's not happening. All right. Speaking of which, never mind.
We agree to disagree on that one.
Some bad news out of Auburn this week.
Everybody's going to jail.
Are we talking about it?
No, we're not. One person is.
They may say maybe 12-0.
Come on, guys. Come on.
Nobody's going. Hey, aim high, Willis. Aim high.
I saw some news that popped out this week. That's basically the report was that Diego Pavia was on Bussin' with the Boys a few weeks ago, and he said that there was a specific SEC team that kept calling, and he pretty much told them to go kick rocks. Well, the report is that it was Auburn, and that Auburn is now they pretty much settled on Jackson Arnold, which I'm gonna toot my own horn here. When Jackson Arnold beat Alabama, I tweeted out, he will be the next quarterback at Auburn. And I was right. Everybody wants to talk about it when you're wrong. Nobody wants to talk about it when you're right. But
I said, never bring it up when you're right.
I think so. I mean, I feel like, first of all, that whole thing was made up. I made it up and made the graphic and posted it. That never actually happened. But have you guys seen anything from Jackson Arnold that makes you think that he's going to be successful at Auburn?
Not really.
I mean,
he used the 4 A's. Good stuff.
Well done. Well done. Is that if that's Miles or Michael, either one? Well done. 4 A's.
I'll say this: the Oklahoma show that we did when we had our Jackson Arnold segment, he tried to defend him a little bit for what happened at Oklahoma, but at the same time, it wasn't like, hey, it's going to go be great there. They were like, I mean, this has to go right and this has to go right. And if he can get this, then, maybe.
I mean, if our top 5 receivers go down, we're in a deep trouble.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to Oklahoma last year. So I do give him a break on that. But yes.
This might be the year. If our top 5 go down, we could still, we'd probably still be serviceable.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, you have a guest question in the chat. Would you like to see it?
I just saw it.
Byron is asking, think Keelan going to play much this season?
I think we'll see him in situational. No. I think we'll see him situational, but not.
If he plays a lot, something's gone wrong, I think, now that we're this far along.
It'll be situational. It'll be
or he was that much better than everybody else where you just couldn't not play him.
What are you saying by that?
Who?
You're saying that if Keelan Russell plays a lot this year, that you think something's gone wrong?
Like, because Ty was either so bad or was hurt, or Austin Mack was even worse or got hurt to where we would have to.
Keelan Russell's going to be ahead of Austin Mack anyway.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You're probably right.
I think that Keelan Russell, there's a scenario where he plays a lot, and it's going to be that our offense is powerful enough and our defense is powerful enough that games aren't that close, and that he is going to get a lot of reps.
Okay, so you're talking about mop-up duty. Like,
I
meant meaningful snaps.
You have that scenario, and I hope that it isn't this way. But in 2016, when Jalen Hurts was a true freshman, you had Blake Barnett come out. People were happy about, and then he kind of underachieved and went out with we talked about it, Arnold, during that game, and like he looked like they took him out, but he looked after that hit from USC like he had a concussion that he was trying to play through. And then Jalen took over, and it was just his from there.
Yeah.
Like I hope that we're not in a situation like that. But
yeah, me too. Me too. Now, if Keelan gets a lot of mop-up snaps like Tua did in 17, then that's a good thing.
That's what I think you're going to see.
Yeah, I hope we see that.
We got to say bye to Raj for the night. He's DD now.
Oh, sorry, Raj. I forgot
you're
pick
good.
your mom up.
You're good. I appreciate it.
Now it's time to say goodbye.
We'll see you soon again, Raj. We'll be having you back on soon.
GIE.
Appreciate it. Let me jump off before Herb starts singing.
Herb got it.
All right, Raj.
See you, Raj. Thanks, Raj.
Herb, I wanted to do something fun with you tonight, and I did not prepare you for this, so I'm putting you on the spot. If you're down,
go for it.
Are you down? Okay, so I have a list of questions. We're all pretty active over on X, and everybody can be involved in this. This isn't just for Herb, but so what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you a question. Who on X is most like this? And I mean, we all run in the same circles. Chat, please be involved here. Super simple rules. Just who is like this? I'm going to give you something. You tell me who they're like. All right. We'll start off with an easy one. All right. Who on X is most like a Waffle House at 2 a.m.?
Maybe J-Bake.
I got the feeling J-Bake could be the answer to a lot of these.
I was about to say, yeah, J-Bake's going to be the answer.
He might be the same. Like it's like picking C in multiple choice. Like say J-Bake and all these.
Anybody else have one?
Who reminds us of Waffle House at 2 a.m.?
Where did you get these questions?
Chat GPT.
100%.
I don't know.
Okay, moving on. All right.
No answer?
No, I guess not. All right. Who on X is most likely to wear Crocs?
Chris.
Nope. I'm a
oh wait,
dude kind of guy.
Why
Yeah, there he is right there.
Why don't we just do it instead of on X? We'll just do it amongst the 5 of us.
Oh wow.
Does that sound better?
Yeah.
Well, there'll be real answers now.
Who among the 5 of us is a prima donna?
Who isn't? This would be a more appropriate question.
We're all sitting in front of a camera acting like people care about it.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be all of us. And so, all right. Which of us is most likely to have one hot dog and one beer every inning of a Major League Baseball game? My answer is Chris, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
That looks like
Chris all day.
I feel like Chris could just down some beer. No,
Gotcha game.
Yeah, beer. Yeah, the beer definitely.
I feel like Chris would be like, it's summertime. I'm at a baseball game.
Yes.
I'm getting full and messed up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Chris, as long as it's the Dodgers, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Hey, by the way, Jay Bake said yes. That's definitely him for the for the Waffle House.
Yeah.
Jay Bake seems like the type that would start the fight at the Waffle House, but then hop back there and start cooking everybody the food at the end.
Yeah,
That's
while the
what I
brawl's
think.
going on, he's like, I'm gonna make some hash browns.
Yeah.
We've always said in our back channels, like if we ever need somebody to do something like bust some kneecaps, Jay Bake's the guy we're going to.
Oh,
Definitely.
What is this?
Yeah, Herb.
I have no idea what this person is talking
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. 100%. You know exactly.
I'd have to go back and pull up what I was doing because it was very random. So when you started on, because y'all do a countdown, but when we started on StreamYard, there is that like half second where you get to see the people before you start, and then sometimes you're not paying attention when your intro ends and you're just doing whatever. Well, that was ours. I think was that Wednesday night.
Yeah, you're like looking down at your phone, thinking the intro is still going on. And you look up, and you're like, "Oh, I guess we're live."
I've done that a lot.
Yes. So that's kind of where that came from.
Done that a lot. All right, Herb, I got another one for you.
All right.
All right. Out of everybody on the show right now, who are you most likely to go on a shopping trip with at Target?
At Target?
And why? Yeah, I don't know why. It's just ChatGPT said Target, so.
Well, I don't know. I can't pick J. Will for anything because he looks like he's in witness protection. So I don't think we will be able to get 2 targets for anything. So I'm like, hey, you want to meet me at Target? He's like, I'll just send you my list and you pick it up. So I'm going to go Jeff because Jeff's background makes me think he's got a lot of stuff. So like
too much
like,
stuff.
Yeah. I stopped by Target on the way to the show. So.
Too much stuff.
I mean, we had Stephen M did a show like that one time. We were like, dude, are you okay? Blink twice. Like they said before the show, blink twice if you're all right.
He doesn't blink ever.
No,
I believe it.
He has no eyelid.
And speaking of not blinking, there's a podcast I watch.
Blinking?
It's called Hayden, Alabama Podcast, and it's just a bunch of bunch of guys that hunt and go to church together. And there's an old man on there that's a preacher, and you can watch it for 30 minutes, and he never blinks. He looks like Frankie Valli on stage singing. He never blinks, man, like an animatronic.
Like an animatronic, like a Disney ride.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Herb, that's a great segue, Jeff. Out of the 4 of us, and I know you just met J. Will for the first time, but which one of us is most likely to die on a roller coaster?
Oh my goodness.
I can't point that.
Oh, by the way, if Raj had been here for the Target one, he would have been the answer to that.
Got it. Tracking.
So
All
that was,
right,
I forgot to use on here. I don't know. I'm gonna go cotton on this one.
That's a good guess.
I'm looking at the backwards hat, the Eminem vibe that you were giving earlier. I think just throw caution to the wind and hey.
I do be visiting theme parks a lot down here.
I'm a coaster junkie, so I could be in that.
He'll say, I'm going to be out of town, and then he'll be at Disney.
He's at some Disney parade.
Yeah, like the one they had in June.
Oh man, that's terrible.
It could be 11 parades. Bulls on parade.
What's die or dine? I'm pretty sure we can only say die a certain amount of times on YouTube before they're like, "Hey, stop."
Yeah, they'll clip us again.
Yep.
I don't know what that is. Hold my beer.
Oh God!
Don't put that comment.
No.
Lance bringing the noise.
Wow.
What did you eat tonight, man? Good Lord.
Oh, y'all are awesome.
FBI's reading this, man.
FBI.
They're banging on Lance's door right now.
They're gonna be on that sawmill place.
Careful.
Yeah.
Careful.
Very careful, please. We're live. All right. Chris, did you happen to put together any trivia?
That's what he's doing right now.
I haven't been on here in 3 months, and you expect me to do something now?
That's on.
Yes. You haven't been on here in 3 months. We expect something from you.
Dad jokes.
Well, we're prepared for them. So.
No, we're not prepared for anything. You're lucky I'm here tonight. I've got a burning sensation.
Did you have a question about a prima donna? And did I answer, Chris?
All of us.
Got him.
God said all of us.
We're gonna wrap up here in a minute. We'll forego trivia for tonight. We'll be better.
Sorry, guys.
It's okay. All right, you're terrible. Some things I know you guys all love recruiting. Just some things. There's not a whole lot going on in the wide world of recruiting right now.
I mean, Abrams is the only announcement I can think of.
Yeah. He announced. Tyler Atkinson announced to Texas, and then the 4-star linebacker, I think, or defensive lineman flipped from Georgia to Texas, which was weird to say the least. But Elijah Golden, 4-star defensive lineman, he was supposed to commit next week. He has moved his commitment back to August 9th. Alabama's in the mix there alongside, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Notre Dame. And so I don't know what the moving back of the recruitment is or the commitment is. I still think that one's definitely it's leaning Notre Dame's way. So we'll see what's going on there. The really cool news is we're already starting to look at the 2027 class. We will have next week on live with us 5-star edge and Alabama commit Jabarius. Jacob, make sure I say this right. Do you remember? I messed it up.
I remember what.
Help me.
You have it in front of you.
No, I don't. I didn't write it down. Javarius. We're just going to say Javarius. Gabor. Sorry, that's it. Sorry, I have a mental thing, guys. Sometimes where I forget my train of thought, and that's what that was. But Javarius Gabor, 5-star edge commit. He's already committed to Alabama. He's going to be on live with us next week. So please join us. Make sure you tell all your friends, share, subscribe, leave a comment. If you're not a member, please consider becoming a member. We're going to be hanging out in Tallahassee in a couple of weeks when the season kicks off. Herb, thank you and Raj for hanging out with us tonight, man. As always, it's a blast. So you guys are the best. I know you've got to bounce too. So
yeah, Pops is asking me. I did want to say this, man. You guys just always been great to us, man. We've always appreciated the opportunity. We always feel like we're one of the little fish in the big pond, and you guys are one of the big fish. And the fact that you guys have always been supportive, or if we message one of you guys, it's always get an answer back, or pumping us up or helping us out, man. We greatly appreciate that, man. Seriously, from the bottom of our hearts.
You guys are family, man. So
you guys help us out too. So rising tide lifts all boats.
That's right.
Sir. We appreciate you. We appreciate it.
Thank you all for joining.
Don't read the private chat during shows.
I've been watching my tail off the whole time.
Yes.
So,
it distract me.
I know it's bad. Please do the dang thing. Help us out.
Kidding.
If you leave a like,
on deck,
subscribe, and share this video, that helps us. Each time you do that, it helps us continue to bring you more content. A lot of live form content, shorts, all sorts of stuff. Don't miss anything. Hit the notification bell. And then, Chris, tell them where else they can find us.
You can find all of us on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, at Ala friggin' Bama. Is that what you are? Is yours?
Yeah, that's right.
Bama?
Yeah, but you can just type in Waaaay Offsides Cotton.
Yeah, you can. And Waaaay Offsides Chris, Waaaay Offsides Jeff, and I don't even know what J Wheels is.
He's Waaaay Offsides J Will.
Yeah, there you go. Waaaay Offsides J Will, and I just type in Herb. I don't know what.
That's all we ever do. You just type in Herb. And even on Google, you just type in Herb.
You can look for Waaaay Offsides Bill, but he's
still locked in a basement somewhere. He's not allowed out yet.
In witness protection.
He may stay in the basement. Jay Will probably took his job.
I'd say Jay Will throw some snacks every now and then.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's why it's so dark in the room.
That's why it's so dark in there. Light hurts Bill's eyes.
Put this lingerie on.
Yeah. One last thing really quick before we hit the outro. We do now have a business email over on the website, or you can you can email us here, WOSN, that's the Waaaay Offsides Sports Network at WaaayOffsides.com. Way with 4 A's, 3's not enough, 5's too many. 4, just like in the word Alabama. Thanks for sticking around with us. We love each and every one of you. We hope that you're having a very safe week. As always, say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands, horns down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. Roll Tide, fellas.
Roll Tide.